Our story today is about Daniel. Daniel had been taken to another country, and a new king was now on the throne. Daniel became one of that king's special helpers too. There were many helpers for the king, but the king liked Daniel very much, and he made Daniel the most important of his helpers. The other helpers were jealous and didn't like Daniel. They didn't think that the king should have made Daniel first. They thought they should be the first in the kingdom. So they decided they would try to find something wrong with Daniel so they could tell the king. But as they watched, Daniel didn't do anything wrong. He didn't lie. He didn't cheat. He didn't steal. He was always on time. He did everything well. And finally, they realized what they needed to do. You see, Daniel worshiped the God in heaven. They didn't. But they saw that Daniel every day would go up into his window 3 times every day and pray to the God in heaven. And they knew that if they could get Daniel to stop praying or make a law against praying, then they would have a reason to accuse him. So those helpers wrote a law, and they took it to the king, and they said, "Oh, king, we want to do something really special for you. We have written a law that says that anybody who prays to anybody or any god other than you for 30 days should be thrown into the lion's den." This law made the king feel important. He felt pleased, and so he signed the law. The men were very pleased as well, and they hurried away to tell everyone about the new law. Then they went to a place where they could watch his house, so they could see if Daniel would go to his window as he always did when he prayed. And as they watched, they saw Daniel come to the window, and they heard him pray to the God in heaven. They smiled to themselves as they hurried off to see the king. When they got to the king, they told him, "Daniel is not obeying your law. You must throw him into the lion's den." Suddenly, the king realized why these men had made the law. It wasn't to make him more important. It was to get rid of Daniel. The king was very sad. He tried to keep Daniel from having to be put in the lion's den, but there was nothing he could do. Finally, he sent his soldiers to take Daniel and put him down in the lion's den. That night the king could not sleep. He didn't want any food to eat. He didn't want his musicians to play any music. He just sat and thought and listened and tried to think what might happen to Daniel. He knew that Daniel trusted in his God, and he hoped that Daniel's God could save him. In the morning, the king hurried to the lion's den, and he called down into the den, "Daniel, are you there? Has your God been able to deliver you from the lions?" From down in the lion's den came Daniel's voice. "Oh, king, live forever. My God has sent his angel and has shut the lions' mouths that they have not hurt me." Quickly, the king ordered his guards to take Daniel up out of the lion's den. The king was very pleased, and Daniel was glad to be out of the lion's den too. Do you suppose that Daniel went back to his house and continued praying to the God of heaven? I'm sure he did. And when we pray, God can help us too, just like he helped Daniel. He will send his angel to help and protect us. Our memory verse is taken from Daniel 6, verse 22. It says, My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths. Take a moment now and say that to your mom or dad. Daniel 6:22. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths.